So dotted notes, how do you figure out how much these notes are worth and how long should you play these notes? So let's take a look at the 3 most common notes that you will see dotted in your music. I will start off by just simply telling you how much these are worth, and then we'll get into how do you figure out how much they're worth if you see different types of dotted notes. So the first one, this dotted half note, usually the first one that students learn. Dotted half note is 3 beats. A dotted quarter note is 1.5 beats. A dotted eighth note is 3/4 of a beat. So it's not just adding 1 beat onto each note. So let's take a closer look at this. If we have this half note is worth 2 beats. We know that. And then we have to add the dot, and then the answer is going to be 3 beats. So that means we add 1. In this case, the dot is worth 1. Let's take a look at the second one. This quarter note by itself is worth 1 beat. We add the dot, and then the answer is going to be 1.5. In this case, the dot is 1/2 of a beat. Not the same as when we had this up here when the dot was worth 1 beat. Now the next example, the eighth note. Eighth note by itself is 1/2 of a beat. You have to add the dot. The answer is going to be 3/4. And so in this case, the answer is going to be 1/4 of a beat. Now just to make sure you understand that, we can just use our fraction pizza right here. So if I divide it into 4 parts, 1/2, and of course 1/2 is the same as 2/4, and then we add 1/4, so we get 3/4 of a beat. And so there's your note. Yay. So what's the pattern here? Well, let me tell you what the dot does. A dot increases the value by half. So half of whatever it's connected to. So you can have many different notes with this dot on it. So here's another example. If we have a whole note is 4 beats. So if we have a whole note with a dot, how many beats is that going to be worth? Well, let's separate that out. So we have the whole note, which is 4 beats. Draw a line. Whole note by itself is 4 beats, plus the dot. And so how it increases the value by half. Now, if you really like mathematical equations, I will give this to you. So N is for note. A dot, or a dotted note, is the same as that note plus N over 2, which means half of whatever it's connected to. So let's go back to this whole note example. So the whole note is 4. The dot is going to be half of 4. So that'd be the same as 4 over 2. And then that will give our answer. So this simplifies. 4 plus 2 equals 6. So that's our answer. A dotted whole note will be 6 beats. So I want to see if you can figure out some different notes that will change their value based on what the dot is. So the dot adds half of the value. A dot increases the value of a note by half.